preseason finale, Warriors-Lakers, Friday night in San Francisco. And for some weird reason, the Lakers had to play back-to-back preseason games. I mean, that's promotional, I guess, right? But they rest all their rotation players. And we end up getting a full 30-minute look at Bronny James against NBA players. Now, Dub Nation, don't worry. I'm not switching sides on y'all or anything like that. But I think that out of last night's game, that was kind of the most interesting thing, right? Was getting this look at Bronny James. And I want to start off first by saying it's not fair, man. I'm of the position that he's been put in an unfair position, right? And crowds chanting for him to come in and oohing and on when he touches the ball. The pressure and microscope that Bronny has been put under is too much, right? But since he's here, we're going to evaluate it, right? And I think the positive is he has the NBA attributes, right? He's quick first step, physically strong, athletic, motor, I don't know, right? But he gets to where he wants to get on the floor. The problem is he doesn't really seem to have a game plan once he gets downhill, right? But, I was told that, Bronny, when you look at the scouting reports and what we've seen from him, the path is that he's going to be a point of attack defender, like a really strong defender and, knock down 3-point shots. The problem that I'm seeing is the instincts and feel. And you could say, well, that's youth and inexperience. I don't think that it has to be the same thing. I think you can be young and inexperienced and still show really good instinct and feel. It's not hand in hand. And I think that Bronny is going to have a hard time if he can't show that instinct and feel, especially off-ball defense and just the motor isn't what I would have expected. I would think he would be hungry to go out there and play super intense and hard to prove that he's earned this spot. And I'm just not seeing that from him. He seems most comfortable offensively, one dribble pull-up, right? But he starts off the game on Kuminga. Not a great matchup, right? But he gets basket cut a couple times. He gets beat back door. He likes to jump and gamble in the passing lanes. And I just think, again, for a player at his size with not a huge bag of tricks and skill set, the instinct and feel is just premium. And you look at someone like Pajemski, right? Where in order for him to make it and be successful in the league, he's got to play a step ahead. He's got to be at one step ahead of the play. And you see that with Pods, right? And I get he's a little older, he's got some more experience, but you don't see Bronny playing one step ahead. You see a really good athlete trying to use his athleticism to play basketball. And so what did he have? 17 points. Again, you can see the athleticism. And I think that the blueprint for him is someone like a Marcus Smart. You've got to be a menace on the ball as a point of attack defender. Make the shots that you're asked to make and do the little things, right? Do the micro skills, win the 50-50 balls, communicate, hustle, raise the energy on the floor. I don't think that there's a path of him being like a bucket scoring two guard. That's not going to be it. But yeah, I'm worried about the instincts and feel. That's how I feel about it. But again, I'm rooting for him because I think it's an unfair situation. And you look at this Lakers core, I'm very curious how much control are they going to give JJ Redick of the roster? Because you hear this more in football where it's like when a new coach comes in, they're like, well, it's going to take a few years to bring the right players in for his program, right? And you look at Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes was out there, right? And D'Lo, who I was ranting about the other day. I don't think they're JJ Redick type of players. Like Cam Reddish and Hayes are out there coasting as if they have nothing to prove. And that's why it was a 50, 60-point game. They should have showed a little more pride and fight, right? I get that half the roster last night were Uber Eats drivers. I know that. But it's I don't know. I don't know about the depth of this Lakers team, but I guess the one silver lining is West Side Connect, right? You saw him, would he go for 35 against the Suns the other night? I think everyone liked him out of Tennessee. And it was like, he was the one guy that as the draft was happening, they were like, dude, where is he sliding to? Where is he? The Lakers got him. Of course, the Lakers got him, right? And I just think one way or another through the rotation, I'd start Reeves and Connect in the backcourt. What are you losing defensively with D'Lo? Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know in depth what's going on with the Lakers, But I'm rooting for Bronny. I'm concerned with his instinct and feel. He's got to play a step ahead. He's not big enough to just be out there reacting and being a big athlete, right? From the Warriors side of things, yeah, they're clicking on all cylinders. 38 assists. The ball movement is crazy. What I was concerned with, the main thing I was checking for the Warriors was, you remember DeAnthony Melton sat out the last game with lower back tightness. Initially, I thought nothing of it. I was like, oh, they're resting him or whatever, right? And then someone reminded me all the back issues he's had in Philadelphia and prior. And I was like, oh, man, don't tell me this is flaring up already in preseason. So I was really happy to see him in the starting lineup and looking healthy, and it looked like it was just rest, right? Steph, the finger, right decision. But there was, Kuminga, someone had messaged me during the game, a patron, and was like, man, they've got to feature Kuminga early, right? It makes him less anxious, and he can just play ball when he gets a couple early baskets. And you could say that about a lot of young players, right? But I fully agree, right? And you can see he's willing to play within the system. He doesn't have to pound the ball, but prioritize him. Get him these easy ones. And you see Trace had a big night. What do you have? 12 points, 5 assists, and 4 block shots. I don't know if Trace is ever going to rebound the way you'd want him to, because he's such a shot blocker. He hunts blocks. But offensive rebounds, I think he can rack them up, right? But there's a lot of nuance to the value that Trace brings to these games, because when he's in the dunker spot, when he's rolling, just having a legit vertical spacer, if you just rewind it on your DVR when you're watching, you'll see that he's opening up a ton of jump shots, because so far every team in the league is very cognizant that we're looking to throw him the lob and his finishing ability around the paint. So hopefully he can rebound more. I like to clown how stiff he is in his finishes. Right? He's got to add some sort of dynamic way to finish instead of just going straight up. But I think he more than makes up for it with the vertical spacing and his passing. What I say, 5 assists, right? The high post passing, and he's a quick passer. You can tell what I was saying about Bronny, like the step ahead. Trace is a step ahead on the roll. He knows like his options, and he makes the reads quickly. So yeah, man, it's all clicking for us right now. Anything else? I saw people joking on Twitter a little bit after, like, oh, the Steph Bron bromance is too much. I don't like it, right? They've been rivals for too long and all that. I think it's dope, man. I think it's dope that they've played this long, that it's come to this point, because they both know they don't have a ton of time left, and so they're just enjoying it, right? Like this is how it should be when you have legendary players towards the end of their careers, where they can still compete, right? But the respect and the friendship and the bond that has been built through that competition, and where they sit, they're just appreciating every game and appreciating each other. So I thought that was dope, as well as, how do you say his name? Quincy Alvari, undrafted out of Xavier, I think. He was one of the only bright spots for the Lakers last night, right? He shot the ball well, and he idolizes Steph Curry, and he got teary-eyed, and it was just his first time meeting Steph. Another super dope thing for Steph, LeBron, KD, playing so long in the league that now they're playing with kids that have grown up idolizing them. And I said this towards the end of my patron breakdown today, where I do, and you saw it with Kobe too, right? I do think the unintended consequence of playing with kids that grew up watching you and idolizing you is it takes a little bit of your competitive edge. I think a little bit of the competitive edge of trying to, just going at their necks might not be there, because it's like they view them as a kid. Like, oh, you've been looking up to me like you're a kid. That's but then the give and take would also be, you're a kid. I've been playing in the NBA since you were in diapers. I'm gonna do what I want. Right. So I thought that there was some dope moments between the two teams, and can't complain. You win by 60. And despite the roster that the Lakers rolled out last night, the sharpness of the ball movement and the readiness of this roster and team right now, I've said it before, I think just everything that it's syncing up, the timing. Melton, slow-mo, Buddy in the prime of their careers. Moody, Kuminga, year 4, really hungry for it. Steph, Draymond, we're not done yet. And Steve Kerr, seems like he has something to prove at this point right now, even though we know he doesn't. He's got 2 hands full of jewelry, but you can see his competitive spirit back as well as having fun coaching. And so when you combine all that and then understanding we got to come out the gates blazing. We want to win preseason games. We want to win everything. I think we look ahead of a lot of teams right now, maybe not in talent, right? Maybe not projected in the standings, but where we're at as far as being in shape, chemistry, and being ready to play live NBA regular season games. And it starts Wednesday night in Portland. I'm excited, y'all. Check, I'm going to be doing some live streams. Again, I'm going to touch on other subjects around the league. I'm excited to grow the channel. I'm very grateful for the support. So you know the deal. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.